Hello, I'm Jonathan Mason, and today I'm going to cover some of the problems that you may experience along your path of reversing your type 2 diabetes and what I did to motivate myself. Now, I'm not a doctor, so I must make this disclaimer, and I'll see you after that. Isn't it wonderful? You are well on the way to recovery, and you have stood guard at the entrance of your mind and have been vigilant in what you have eaten. And I'm sure you would have begun to feel the benefits of getting healthy again. But like all journeys, the path is never as smooth as we would like it. It is usually filled with obstacles that we don't always expect. And this is why I've made this video, to help you along your way by sharing with you the problems that I experienced and my fears, because I didn't know what the norms were. So in this talk I'll cover two topics, namely the problems that you might experience and how I motivated myself. You might experience similar problems whilst you are trying to reverse your type 2 diabetes. When you have type 2 diabetes, you undoubtedly have a number of health problems sort of thrown into the mix. Before I started eating healthy, I was losing my memory. I think it was probably the statin medication that I was taking. But when I began to eat healthy, my memory loss halted, and it was only then that I was able to put my mind to work on how to reverse my type 2 diabetes. But as I began to reverse my type 2 diabetes, I began to realize I had more problems than just losing my memory. Now, losing my memory was the biggest of my problems, but not the only one. So my first bit of advice is, read the side effects of your medication. And if you have any of the side effects, then ask your doctor if they can prescribe something that you might be more compatible with. Now, see my video, Pharmaceutical Medication, Good or Bad. I will leave a link in the description box here below. But I found that even when I had come off my medication, I still had other health problems. It is these health problems that I want to talk about. But more importantly, I want to show you how these problems affect your glucose readings. Now, before I start, I want to give you some of the blood glucose reading parameters that you might experience during the day. This is not an authoritative statement, but it is a statement that proved very useful to me. Although in better times my ideal readings were well below those that were stated. Now, before breakfast, your reading should be between 4 and 7.2 mmol, but more ideally around 6.1 mmol. Now, 2 hours after meals, it should be under 10, but ideally around about 7 mmol. Note that my recommended times for you taking your readings was just before meals, which is about 5 or 6 hours after your last meal. Now, at bedtime, your reading should be around between 5 and 8.3 mmol. Now, if you don't use the mmol measure, then the conversion from mmol to mgdl is shown over here beside me. Now, I found this useful because the parameters were a lot better than I had anticipated, and you will see the doctor's comments supported these stated readings. The first problem I encountered after I was off my medication was getting a steroid injection. Now, one of the side effects of being a type 2 diabetic and of the medication that I was taking was that of inflammation. Now, I was suffering chronic inflammation in my left shoulder. I had tried exercise, but nothing seemed to reduce the inflammation. So I had been booked in for a steroid injection that I was to go for. It was just after I had gone into ketosis. Now, steroid injections is the standard way of treating chronic inflammation that cannot be cured by exercise. But one of the side effects of the steroid injection is that it might give you type 2 diabetes. But upon investigation, I found that this was normally only if you had an extended use of the steroids. Now, my blood glucose readings was around about 5.6 mmol. That is normally considered to be quite acceptable. I knew beforehand that the steroid injection was going to push up my blood glucose levels. This happens because the steroid injections increase the glucose in your bloodstream so that there is extra energy to fight the inflammation. So if you are in this sort of situation whilst on the start, expect this to happen. I was in ketosis at the time, and my blood glucose readings did go up to a level of 8.1 mmol. But after that it did return to normal. This was unnerving, as I didn't really know what the parameters were at the time. But you will see that this is perfectly acceptable, and this is the main reason for giving you these parameters. So the lesson I learned here is that if you have some foreknowledge of what to expect, you'll be much more relaxed and calm about what to expect when it does happen. Getting the flu. As I stated in my video, my battle with type 2 diabetes, the link is in the description box here below if you haven't seen it yet. I got the flu after being a little too zealous in my exercise regime. The flu started off quite badly and then lingered around for about 3 weeks. I was monitoring my blood glucose levels 4 times a day and sticking to my ketogenic diet. When my glucose readings reached a high of 9.1 mmol, I decided it was time to see the doctor. I knew that if he gave me antibiotics, then this would bring my blood glucose levels down and enable me to fight the infection faster. When the doctor reviewed my medical diary and saw the progress that I was making, he told me I was fine and I was good to go. He reaffirmed that what I was doing was good and that my readings at this level were to be expected. Everything was as it should be. So when you have some sort of infection or some sort of stressful situation that your body needs to combat, expect your blood glucose readings to go up accordingly. This is a natural process. It is only when your readings go beyond these levels that you should concern yourself and contact your doctor as soon as you can. But as a footnote to this section, I would just like you to remind you to look at what you are doing in your daily life and on your diet, of course, to see what may have influenced your blood glucose levels to have increased. There will be some situations that cannot be avoided, and there might be some things that you might have relaxed on, like added more carbohydrates into your meals. Now this is typically known as carbohydrate creep, in which case you just reassert your disciplines again and restore your glucose levels. Most people, when they go on the ketogenic diet, do experience their cholesterol or the LDL, the bad cholesterol levels, to come down to more acceptable levels. But this was not the case for me. I found that whilst my LDL did come down slightly, it was still too high and was posing a slight risk of heart disease. Now, upon my research, I did find out that I was probably part of a small subset of people that found that the LDL particle size increased. So whilst the LDL concentration stayed the same high level, the number of LDL did come down, and because of a larger size, the LDL did not pose any threat to heart disease due to its larger size. But most doctors will only do the cholesterol concentration test. So you could either ask your doctor to get the other test done, or you could take the cautious approach that I did, and that was to supplement with Pantene. This brought down my LDL levels to an acceptable level. But when it comes to knowing how illness affects your type 2 diabetes, then it is always preferable to be a student and not a follower. I tried to give you the bare basics of how different things affected my blood glucose readings and how I monitored whether it was something to concern myself about or whether it wasn't. The steroid injection and the flu were normal, and my body could handle the situation, and it posed no threat. The cholesterol levels were high, but were possibly nothing to worry about, and I chose the safest route, as this was my health and my well-being that I was worried about. So I take a perfectly healthy supplement to assist my body's natural mechanisms, and my health took a safe leap to the next level. Ketosis is a state you might spend a lot of time in. It could be up to a few weeks or to a few years. So it is an important stage. It is a stage where you get your blood glucose levels under control, and it is a time that you reset your diet and brings your health back into your own hands. It is a time that you are bringing your weight down to your ideal weight. It is a time when you bring your fitness levels up. It is a time when you increase your metabolism. It is a time when you do everything to bring your insulin resistance to the lowest levels that you can. So it is a time of resetting yourself for better health. So I urge you, take courage and persevere during this stage. During this time, it is important to be your own motivator. You have to encourage yourself to continue to do the things that you know are right, but that you're not necessarily used to, or more than often, you don't really want to do. But a lot is at risk. It is not only your health, it is your happiness and the happiness of those who love you. So how would I suggest that you motivate yourself? Firstly, I would suggest that you keep a medical diary, just like I do. It should have the following information on it. It should have the date, the time of the reading, the blood glucose reading, the blood pressure reading, and have a space for events that you want to record, like medical symptoms that you might have, like a stuffy nose or a headache, and record if there's any certain foods that have been taken or that you have stopped taking that may have affected these symptoms. Plus record certain goals that you might have achieved, like running 1.5 miles under a certain time, or when you've walked for 30 minutes or longer without stopping, etc. Then state your ideal weight. Record your weekly weight and what may have caused the changes, especially if you find it going up, and this does happen occasionally. Reward yourself with certain milestones when you achieve them. And I don't mean by going out for a meal, but maybe you could go and see a movie, or go to the theatre, or watch the opera, or something that you find enjoyable. It is these rewards we relish in our success, so don't miss out on them. This is the end of the critical turning point of your type 2 diabetes. This is a time where you must stand guard at the entrance of your mind and ensure that you take full control of yourself. It is a time to make your health a personal study so that you know what is happening to your body and what you are doing to overcome it. It is a time to reward yourself for achieving the success that you are fighting for. It is a time to make some really good lifestyle choices. It is a time for you to be the best that you can be. By changing our lifestyle choices, we can put ourselves in that position where our bodies are functioning as normal, healthy people. It's good for you and for those who love you. I would urge you to continue educating yourself about type 2 diabetes, as this will enable you to be more informed as to how you can combat it. Continue with this program and you will have all the tools you need to reverse your type 2 diabetes by making the right lifestyle choices. All my videos on this program are free to look at. I give you the exact diet plan that I followed and the formula for you to calculate your own meal plans. I also give you the information on how to go into the diet safely and to avoid some of the experiences I had and how to come out of it safely. There is also advice on how to manage your diet and accordingly your diabetes once you have stabilized. I give you advice on what to look for as you grow older and to maintain your self-rewarding health. Reward yourself with good health and change your lifestyle like I did and enjoy more vitality and experience the joy of loving life. Now, in my next video, Maintaining a Healthy Lifestyle and Your Insulin Resistance, this is where I share with you how to come out of ketosis safely and how to set your carbohydrate level according to your insulin resistance. I explain how to monitor yourself on an ongoing basis so that as your metabolism slows down, you can make adjustments to your diet. This will help ensure that you stay as healthy as you possibly can be. So join me in my next video, Maintaining a Healthy Lifestyle and Your Insulin Resistance. If you would like to help me reverse type 2 diabetes around the world, then please like, subscribe and share these videos. But if you would like to get more involved in helping me to spread the word in a more direct way, then please go to my website where you can find the program's mission statement along with a complete set of videos and a whole lot of other helpful aids that a type 2 diabetic could need. It is also a place where I hope to build a supportive community environment. Now, I would like to thank anyone in advance who graciously donates to the cause and shares these videos. It is this support that enables this information to reach more people and to change lives. Have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.